That's so wonderful. And obviously that wasn't, you know, even though that was your first coming out a music video, that wasn't your first time modeling. You have also done Ghana's Finest
Oh
and
yeah,
even then contents into that. Yeah, exactly. So has creativity and sort of always being like out there and being in the media, has that always been like a thing that you've always wanted to do you think?
I guess. I mean, with YouTube, I actually had a channel when I was 15 with my best friend. So that was like, but then that never went anywhere. 14, 15. In terms of Miss Ghana UK, it was like a really random idea. It was put in a girls group chat. I told my sisters. My oldest sister was like, "You're doing it," and I was like, "Okay, I'm doing it." And then there we go. But from that, I learned so much. Like, and I think every time I feel fear or I feel shook to do something, I just remind myself, you literally were on a stage in front of excellencies and distinguished guests. You were dancing traditional dances. You did all these things for like 2-3 hours straight. You can go on a clubhouse room in front of 15 people. You can do a university project in front of 5. Like, it's calm. Like, you've done this, you can do that. So definitely had a hand in me pushing myself and knowing that I do have somewhat a star quality. My mom says it more than I do. My mom like really, like, she
that's
says
what they're
like,
there for, right? To boost you up and
she's,
empower you. And
exactly. And she always says, like, she sees me in higher places, so I should work hard and just keep pushing through and stuff like that. And my grandpa as well, my grandparents, my grandpa and my mum are my 2 biggest motivators when it comes to like everything. So and my sister Linda. You know what? Let me just say my whole family, because otherwise they'll beat me up. Everybody, thank you.
The whole family, come on, everyone. No, that is amazing. Yeah, especially when you have your family support and you have their true, unconditional, genuine support. It is like, you know, it's good to have a safe space, isn't it? Like, I felt like we learned about it a little bit in psychology in school, but I didn't really get to understand it until I started having loads of downs. And then I was like, oh, I'm actually really fortunate to have these downs, but I have these people that are gonna sort of pick me up and pick up where I left off. Do you get what I mean? And that's amazing to hear. Now, you know, with traditional jobs like marketing, accountancy, or even jobs in the healthcare sector, you're always aware of the qualifications you need to have. They're very direct. You need a 2-1 in this, so you need 7 years experience in that and whatnot. How, as a creative, you know, it is so broad, it is so different. You know, you've done a little bit of modeling through the Ghana side, and you've done a little bit of modeling for music videos. How do you sort of attest to yourself before going for a job, and how do you measure your experiences that are needed before you're putting yourself forward for a collab or anything that you've done before? How do you measure that when when the spectrum is so broad?
So in regards to that, I haven't actually got to the point where apart from this one thing with PLT, but that was like a social media thing. I'll get to that. But I haven't like actually approached a brand and said, I want to work with you, this, that, and the other. What I do know, what I have learned from Clubhouse is that it's good to have like a media kit, they say. So this is usually like a picture or some sort of like a template, a picture of yourself, like full body, some headshots, and then like if you haven't worked with brands before, you can put what your socials look like, so how many followers you got in different places, what you'd like to get into, what your interests are, blah blah. But then if you have worked with brands before, you can put those brands on the media kit, and then when you approach them, you send it to them with that, and you make sure it's really nice and appealing, so then they put you into like a pile of, in future, this person, we can contact them. Maybe we don't have jobs now, but at least we can go to this pool every day. Because if your socials aren't looking up to scratch and everything like that, and the email looks a bit somehow, apparently they put you into a no list, and then that's that. So make sure, like, I would say that you look like somebody that they would want to use, you know? So I haven't yet made that step yet, because I've only, as of February, that's when I was tidying up my Instagram. And you know, making sure everything looks aesthetically pleasing, so I could go ahead and start approaching these people, or start looking like I should be approached by people. And it works. I mean, I've had a few people or brands come to approach me, and now it's like, okay, now I need to try and actually be serious and start start creating more content.
Yes, stop taking the piss.
Yeah,
it all go somewhere. Be serious. And that is true.
Yes.
Like, you do need to be serious. As much as this is such a fun industry to work in, you know, you do what you want and you're getting paid for it. There is also an element of being serious, being hardworking, being driven, and acting as if this is a degree or as if this is a 9 to 5, and putting in the hours or the stats or whatever you need into that. Yeah, so I definitely agree with that.
It takes time and planning.
Yeah, it does take time. And how do you keep motivated, especially when things take time? And, you know, if you're, like you said, since January, you've been cleaning up your Instagram and so forth. If you've not heard anything, or if you've not been approached by anyone, how do you still keep your level of motivation on a high? Because I feel like as people that view, and as somebody who doesn't have a YouTube watcher, even though I need to watch it, you know, I need to watch how long I'm on YouTube. I can tell when somebody's creating content just to create content, or whether somebody's actually genuinely wants to do this. So how do you keep your motivation up so that this is still something that's enjoyable, even though it's not something that's profitable to you at that time?
So, easy answer, I would say, remember your why. Don't forget the reason why you started in the first place, especially if it was for like fun and vibes. I would say the long answer is to not focus too much on like profit, what you're gonna gain from it, all this kind of stuff. And I know it's good and it's great if you want to make a career out of it. Definitely don't cut it out completely, but don't let that be your be all and end all, because then it will be like just any other job, you know. Someone might love sitting in a call center and speaking to different people all day, 100 calls. They might love it. They might love the social aspect. Somebody else might just be in it for the money. You will see the result. You will see the difference. Same thing goes for social media. You know, you're dragging yourself out of bed. You're doing this skincare routine, which is 109 steps long. Your room is always tidy, even though you want to throw something on the floor, just because you want to always be ready to create content. That's not life, you know. I know, yes, you have to find a happy medium, but don't let the money and the views and the likes be the be all and end all, because that's how you get sucked in. And I get sucked in every once in a while. I won't lie. Like, I get sucked in every once in a while, and then what I do is I just remind myself that I'm not here for likes and views and reactions and all that. I'm just here having fun with my camera on, and that's what I want to portray. And I want people to have fun watching it. I want people to set a vibe. I want people to enjoy my pictures, and I want people to enjoy my videos, and I want people to laugh and smile and all that kind of stuff. So even if I have a nice picture, the caption will be something silly, or like something that will just get a conversation started in the comments. You know what I mean? And then just finding that medium, that's really important.
Absolutely. I feel like the true artists are the ones that will still be working on their crafts, whether or not they would get paid for it. Do you hear what I mean? I always say to myself this: I wonder how many albums we would have get released a year if Spotify or whatever streaming service stopped paying their artists. I wonder who would still got into the booth to do it just because they love it. Do you get what I mean? Yeah,
exactly.
So definitely. Yeah, that is very. So, do you think it's essential to surround yourselves with other creatives, and does that add to the motivation, do you think?
Yes, I would say yes, because actually before, if you're not on Instagram, you won't notice, but before, I would say December, maybe even November time, I wasn't really surrounded by creative. I have like creative friends that I keep in touch with every now and again, but they also have jobs, so they're probably the same level as me.
Yeah.
Then I joined the Guardian Lounge, which is full of content creators. Well, there's two particular ones. One particular one that's really helped me a lot, which is Flavia Benko. She, like, I just randomly messaged her, I want to email this person, and she was like, stop. Let's fix your highlights. Let's make sure you're posting some nice pictures. Let's make sure you're this, that, and the other. And then as I was doing
I love people like that.
Yeah. It's like, you're not going to email them because you'll get put into the reject pile. I was like, so she just reminded my sister, like, just taking charge. So we had like a 2-hour conversation. As we're on the phone, my highlights were being fixed, all that kind of stuff. I was brainstorming what I'm going to post. And then now, so I actually hit 10K on my Instagram yesterday. What? And I think that,
Oh, wow, that is
Thank you.
so
I'm gonna open a wine bottle later on.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you. So I'm definitely like thinking that it's definitely got to do with the consistency, it's got to do with the aesthetic, all that kind of stuff. But definitely hanging around with creatives is good. They can uplift you, and you can even help them. If she wants to have a chat with me to help me, for me to brainstorm with her at some point. So like you lean on each other, and it's definitely good. Like even like Nella Rose, she always mentions how good it is to have creative friends because they get it.
Yeah.
You know, you might have your friends who they support you, and they empathize with you, but they don't get it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. I'm not in that space yet. But I'd want to think that I'm prepared to be in that space because I have a good community of creatives and good friends as well.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And yeah, and I wasn't that for you because like we said before, you are such a phenomenal person. People want to gravitate towards you naturally. So I definitely think you're gonna have such a solid people around. And isn't it nice? Like I always tell my mom, like I want to have more creative friends because when I made it, you know, when I'm going to my movie premiere and whatnot, I want to be like, oh, Irene, do you remember in 2021 when we do this interviews in our room? Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's so different coming up with people as opposed to just having doors being open to you. Be like, oh my God, this is the kind of people I'm friends with now. Do you know what I mean? Like, and remembering, So
it's like Taraji and is it Regina Hall and Taraji?
Yeah.
No, it's not Regina Hall. It's Taraji and someone else. Henson, they've got like no, it's the other, another lady. Maybe that name.
Yeah.
Them two are like friends from way back.
Way back, yeah.
And so when you watch the interviews, the chemistry they have is just so funny because they have like inside jokes and it's just really cute to watch. They're both big actresses. Yeah.
And where would you actually like to take your platform when, like I said, when you fade it? What do you think? What do you envision for yourself?
Do you know, this is something that I've been trying to think about for like the longest, it's been like 2 weeks. This is something I'm trying to like settle into. I've been playing around with the idea of radio host and presenting and like I don't know if I'd get into acting.
Yeah.
I think I'd break character.
I love you, but you could not be serious for shit.
Yeah.
You know, maybe like a crime scene, and then Ari will be in crackers. Like,
yeah. Unless I'm like a specific character every time.
Yeah,
I don't want to be the same person. Yeah. I want to, do you know what deep down? I want a cartoon. I want to be a cartoon.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Big Mouth. Like, you see a cartoon like Big Mouth, I definitely see you doing something
Hormone
like
Monstrous.
that. I do.
There's Hormone Monstrous's little sister.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's variety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be like you. Yeah. 100%. So wow, I see the voice. Who knows? You know, maybe Simpsons will end soon, and they need to make spaces for us. I'm tired of the brown episodes. Yeah, exactly. You know,
yellow.
Okay. And in regards to your platform, do you think that social media benefits you massively when you're growing, or do you think like if you didn't have social media you would still be growing at the exact same pace?
When you say growing, do you mean like developing, or
yeah, I mean
like
developing when it comes to skills, when it comes to, you know, making friends, when it comes to like layout or connecting with people? I mean, as a growing your brand, whether it's because connecting with different people so that you have more followers, or whether it's like you said, making more creative friends so that you are like fixing those knickknacks that elevate you to another level. Do you think you could have still done that without social media, or do you think social media is crucial to bringing you to that next level?
You know what, with me, my creativity, like being in lockdown was the catalyst of my social media platforms to be where they are now.
Yeah.
If coronavirus didn't happen, I always think about like, if corona didn't happen, maybe I would have flown to Ghana after the video blew and then made the name there. But I think that being stuck inside and everyone else being stuck inside and having to be forced to speak to each other through social media and create these connections, yeah, I don't think I would be where I am now, because everyone's now on their phones, everyone's now scrolling, everyone's on the newest social media platform to be
Not
close
everyone.
to. Okay, not everyone. Sorry, Oma. Sorry. People are gravitating to these places to just be in the know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it would be harder to have not been on socials in the periods that I created my platform and thrived off it. But had there not been coronavirus, could have been in the streets, I don't know, speaking to people, but I don't know, it's hard to have a platform in the day and age, in the social media age. Like, it's hard. I think it's hard to have, I personally haven't heard of any platforms that don't have any social media links. And even if they don't, it's hard to like keep up to date with them. I think, unless it's like a mailing list.
Yeah.
And things like that.
And do you think they need to be interlinked? So do you think like your Instagram needs to be connected to your Twitter and needs to be connected to your YouTube for it to be at most effective? Do you think it needs to be that?
It depends.
I'm asking for myself. Do you basically think I'll be okay just being on YouTube? And can I just grow just being on YouTube?
Content. It depends on the content. So if you're like, let's say for example, you're doing discussion topics and whatnot, you personally, you don't need to be on social media, but your brand can be on social media. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're doing like development and all that kind of stuff, and it's, you know, what's the other word you're saying? All these other words you keep saying. You can make a Twitter page and pose questions, polls, have people talking, and interact with them that way. Don't follow pages that you know will get you sucked into somewhere crazy. Don't even follow anyone. I mean, people like Kanye, he don't follow no one. He just tweets. Same with your Instagram. You can build a following. Just make sure your content is good, because there are definitely people that don't follow anybody and they build that way. You know, you have people that, you know, like me, I have a big following, for example. If you know you're trying to get somewhere, you ask them to repost, you know. And if your content is really good, they will naturally repost. And it's not for you, it's for your brand. So it's a bit of a win-win. Like, you don't have to be on socials, but your brand definitely has to be
on social media. Yeah, especially now, well, like you said, everybody starts sort of glued to their phone.
So make use of the time that everyone is at home before everyone goes outside. So I think as soon as outside opens, most I'll do is take a snap to show everyone this is the fun I'm having right now.
Honestly, the only app I'll be on is Eventbrite. What's the next barbecue? Where's the next rooftop party? Do you know what I mean? I'll be deleting all my apps. See ya, YouTube. Eventbrite, what's happening?
Me vlogging it.
Yes, and me vlogging it. Absolutely. And so apart from the, you know, you talked about posting more content, being consistent in what you do, what other tips do you have for somebody who's trying to grow the audience on social media as well as other platforms?
So apart from posting
purposeful content as well as being consistent, what other tips do you have for somebody that wants to grow? Yeah, for growing their platform. Yeah.
It's kind of hard. I would say interact.
Okay.
If you're not posting, if you know you have to post consistently, you know you have to have good content. Be in other people's comments, hype them up. Show that you are an interactive follower, because then you get that same interaction back. Don't do it so that you can get the following back, but it's a good way to go. I mean, you definitely interact with my videos and whatnot. And I love it.
I just like to chat, you know, and that's part of one of the reasons I can't be on social media, because if I see something, I have to comment on it. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But then when it's bad, I have to catch myself on it, and I'm like, that wasn't necessary. Do you know what I mean? So then I'm like, get out from that app, get out of there. Well, I am an interactive person. Do you get what I mean? So yeah, definitely
being interactive. Definitely, I think that would be my biggest tip, because that's what makes it relatable.
Yeah,
so definitely.
Yeah, and I like being like a purposeful consumer. Like a completely different topic aside this, but I always tell my sister, be purposeful. Like, I hate it when people watch stuff in the background just because you might be watching that just because it's in the background, but then you're telling that network, you're telling that producer, you're telling that director that this is what's in demand, and then they'll be creating content that pleases that same thing or that it relates to that. Do you get what I mean? So if you're having something in the background, have a Nigerian movie in the background on Netflix. Do you get what I mean? Don't just be having you know, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, because those producers, I'm sorry to say, even though it's a black show, but most of them are white, and the people that are benefiting highly from that, aside from Will Smith, most of them, do you get what I mean? What if you want to support it in every single thing that you do, be purposeful, whether it's liking a YouTube video or having your Skype channel set at a certain channel. You've got to be purposeful with what you do, and that's why I think I'm interactive, because I'm like, I'm here for a reason, I'm watching this for a reason. Do you get what I mean? And I like for my actions to sort of reflect that, as opposed to just because. Do you get what I mean? Especially as Black people as well, I feel like we're always playing the catch-up game. I talk about this a lot on my podcast, where we have to remember our life started way after there. So when, you know, we were creating churches and creating communities and learning how to write, we had our white counterparts that were already lawyers, that were already creating a voting system, you know, starting to talk about interest in their housing and so forth. So when we're now finally talking about housing and so forth, these people have created generational wealth. Do you get what I mean? So it's about being intentful and knowing that, hey, we're catching up, and I need to be intentful with what I'm doing. I need to be purposeful with my actions. Yeah. If that makes sense. If that makes sense. Yeah. So, okay. How are you doing anyways so far? You good?
I'm good, man.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So, okay, I've got one more questions, and then I'll let you go. I wanted to know: is there anything you want to highlight that we don't see? Because as viewers, we see the final finished product. You know, we see what you want us to see, essentially, and we don't know how many takes it took, how many tears or even amendments or frustration it took to creating something that you're happy about and that you want to have out there. So can you tell us about one more thing that we don't see as viewers, but that impacts you as a content creator?
So I'll give you 2 or 3. My first one is going to be a funny one. Okay. Like every single time I create content, without fail, something will spill. I will knock something. Yes. Because I don't know why I have a problem with not closing things properly. Oh, so okay, I'll be doing my makeup with a cluttered desk, and I'll have like my face oil, knock it over, and I won't even notice. I'll just be like, what's that smell? And then I'll see. And
you're like, oh, it's a vitamin.
Literally. And it's like, oh shoot. And then like I have like 10 minutes of me wiping up. Yeah. Super more on the floor. Just accidents. Just a lot.
2 things from that. I don't like Supermall. I'm a fake Black person. I don't like Supermall. You know, I've tried it, and I don't know how you people drink
it's that. Not a very one.
It's not. And B, I used to work at Connell's, and I used to literally have my manager who banned me from having open drinks on the desk because I'm just such a spiller. She's like, Naomi, if you don't have a bottle that you can close the tab, you're not allowed to drink at your desk. You're just simple. I don't care if it's water, you are not allowed to drink at your desk. So I completely feel you. It's just, it's gone.
What else? I haven't cried yet for content. I won't lie. I don't think I would. I think my content's a bit too much good vibes. Yeah. For that. Yeah. But definitely retakes, and you end up sitting on content that you intend. Like I have a video of my university experience from like January, and I'm sitting on it, and I'm gonna have to refilm it. But yeah, filming content just to not post it is something that you will probably experience a lot of. You have like loads of videos that you made, and then in the end you're not happy with it. Maybe you can tell your vibes were off or something. The case like just waste. You feel like it's wasted content.
Yeah. And what do? You don't delete it. You just keep it. Just keep it. Yeah, keep it.
Yeah, I put it somewhere like sit in a hard drive, or I'll refilm it and maybe put snippets in. Yeah. So that, going off of that, I would say that your vibe, what I think anyway, you can see when someone, like how you said, you can see when someone's posting content just for money versus when they're vibing. I can tell when I'm editing my videos that I'm not feeling it. And so certain videos don't get put out. And that's something that you need to think about when you're creating content, is if you're not in the mood to do it, don't do it. Because when you go back to editing, you're gonna it's just not everything can be made into content. It doesn't bang. And then like if you're gonna do like TikTok and stuff, it looks quick, it looks like 1 minute, it takes time. It takes time to edit, pause, put your makeup on. It takes time. Everything takes time. Nothing's done quickly. That's what I'll say.
100%. Because my niece will come over and she loves TikTok, but she'll get me to learn one dance, and I'll take like 2 hours to learn the one dance, you know. And I'm like, I'm done. By the time she actually wants me to post it, and like you say, put the makeup on and stuff like that, I'm like, I'm done now. Like I want to go make fufu stews for me.
I've learned one TikTok dance. I learned it the other day at work from one of my colleagues. Tried to teach me another one. I was like, not quite. I might try again.
It's the Savage one. The Savage
one. I
one.
tried that one as well.
That's the only one.
It was fun to try and learn.
Yes. All right then. Well, that is it for me. Thank you so much. Literally, I have learned so much from this conversation. I'll definitely I say this after every single interview, but people are actually bare smart, and people are watching this and thinking you're fake. Like, you're not gonna rewatch all these interviews and make notes, but I actually am. You know, because as much as this is for people trying to make it into the creative industry, I am one of these people, and I started this because I was like, oh, okay, you know, how actually is it like, you know, I'm on O2 Think Tank, I'm on this, I'm on Indeed, which does not help you at all, you know. Even you guys, you're like, how to become a presenter? Or the only option they have is go to uni and do this and do that. So when you want something that's relatively new or that's relatively diverse, there is no direct way to get out of it. I think conversations like this are so important, and they're not just enlightening and enriching, but they're so needed. So thank you so much for having a sit down with me. You've been nothing but knowledge, blessings, and vibes, just as your video is. So I'll definitely be linking all your links below, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, so people can experience the marvelousness that I see, and they'll understand why I just love you. So thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thanks for having
me. You're welcome. All right, listen, well, this has been Behind the Podcast, guys. I've been Naomi, she's been Irene, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.